Good day to you, Dr. Prodigal. Just giving some thought this morning. Been up again early, very early, and just looking at some things. I want to, just address something very quickly. Romans 8:19 through 22. I won't quote it to you, but what I will say is that we are those that are ushering in the presence of Christ in this earth, and it's not only us that are waiting for his arrival and the manifestations of his power, but nature is waiting for us as sons and daughters of God to manifest ourselves, and they're eagerly awaiting. Why do I say that now? I like to look at patterns, and it's something been bothering me for a while. I haven't said a lot to many people about it, but I've been noticing a very disturbing pattern. I'm one that loves animals. When I was growing up, I'd catch whatever and try to name it, talk to it, tame it, whatever, learn all about it. Love animals. So what do? I watch a lot of animals here. In my area, there are coyote sightings. One time I told my wife, look, there's a coyote out there. Nah, ain't no such thing as a coyote. 2 days later, pick up the newspaper. A coyote wanted to make a meal out of somebody's Shih Tzu. So it was a coyote and the guy shot him. Then I see other things. So we happened to be driving back one time from an area of ministry, and I stopped the car. She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Look right there." It was a coyote standing right by the dumpster, and he was looking around, looking at this group of motorcycle people, possibly a motorcycle club or whatever, that was at the hotel. And, they were just watching, and he had this look like, "Why don't you move away from my lunchbox? I'm hungry." So she said, "Wow, so that's how a coyote look." I said, "Yeah, it kind of looks like Wile E. Coyote, some little slinky, sneaky thing." But the other part of that is that another friend of mine that lives further out in the rural area, I see what I thought was a coyote. I still say it was a coyote, most likely a hybrid in that area. And they were very healthy and very big. He runs a hunting camp, and he said that they thought that he was running the animals away, or the deer. It was the coyotes that were running. So that's just one instance. So we all know of the skunks and the raccoons and the possums that come with us, and also the squirrels and things like that. All the creation now is starting to encroach on the existence of man, just as we're encroaching on their environment. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for the manifestations of the sons of God, where we will begin to have dominion again. We will have dominion, not begin, we will just have. Be standing in it, like we were in the Garden of Eden, to have dominion over them, replenish the earth. All of these things are coming back. So what else is happening now with this animal thing? Orcas, killer whales. I find it interesting that I love animals, and animals also speak into, the presence of God at times, or the movement of God. So what did I see? I saw these orcas, and I watched the movie Free Willy, and that was good. And there was another one, I can't remember, I think the name of it was Orca, where they have memories. So I found it interesting that in the southern hemisphere, I believe it was around Australia somewhere, these orcas were attacking boats. And not only were they it wasn't a random thing. They had, synchronized attacks. So I kept reading and I kept following this thread. And eventually, one of the scientists had narrowed it down to one orca that was wounded by a man or caught in a fishing net, and she in turn began to teach her cows, who in turn, others began to watching her, and then now they'll attack a boat in a minute. But I'm also seeing that across the world where they're doing it. So what am I saying? Okay, we're not taking care of the earth that God told us to have dominion on, and yeah, there is global warming. Why do I say that? A couple of years ago, matter of fact, last year, November, Chesapeake Bay was full of crabs. It was nice, decent weather, and that was the first time in my life I had gone to the Chesapeake Bay and eaten crabs, fresh caught that day crabs, in November. Unheard of. What else do we have? We have so many animals that we say are extinct, but now they're popping back up. Could it be that we have to manifest ourselves in order to save nature, and in turn save the earth, and in turn just extend our ability to wait until the Lord shows up? So what am I saying with all of this? I'm saying that the manifestations of the sons and daughters of God is tantamount into this earth. It's tantamount. Not only are we dealing with humans, but we're also dealing with nature. So all of this is coming about as the way the enemy wants us to destroy it. Think of it this way. If you had no house to live in, where would you go? So if somebody teaches you to destroy your house, then where would you go? And oftentimes that's what happens with many people. We're taught in a wrong way, and we destroy stuff. And then we have nowhere to go. But this time we have somewhere not only to go, but also a power to stop us from doing it. That power is the Holy Spirit. But I want us to go back in. Romans is a very interesting book. Actually, I want to do a cursory study on Paul. Many people want to interpret what God is saying through Western theology or mindset, such as even this, where, Romans, which undoubtedly what the author was Paul, a Hebrew man, he said all the creation is moaning in expectation of this. So why would I say it's an expectation? Well, let's go all the way back with Genesis. Law first mentioned Hebrew culture. All of creation is moaning, waiting for the manifestations of the sons of God. So what will we do when we manifest? We're going to call some things out. We're going to name some things. We're going to do it. So creation has already done that. What happened in the beginning? All of creation was moaning, waiting for the manifestation of Adam. Adam came. Everything was beautiful. He dressed and kept the garden. It was happening. And then there was the fall. So now this is where it comes. This is why we are waiting. Well, creation is waiting for the manifestations of the sons of God. In Hebrew culture, once you name something, you're responsible for it. So Adam only agreed on earth what God had already said in heaven about this. God had created an aardvark in heaven. Adam called it in the earth. So guess what? God created Eve. And when he brought her forth, Adam named her. Not God. Adam named her. So therefore he became responsible for her, just like the animals, just like the earth. So Adam named her. He said, this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I'm going to call you woman, womb man, because there's nothing else out here like you, and you are for me. So he named her, he became responsible for her, but yet he let his responsibility lapse. And when you say, well, how did he become responsible? Well, even in some of our cultures now, well, not as much as it used to be, when a woman married a man, she took on his last name. He became responsible for her well-being, and everything else, brothers. So now, he not only became responsible for her, but he also became responsible to help develop her. This is the exact same thing as the animals. Adam named the animals. Adam became responsible for them. Adam on earth became responsible for the earth because God gave him that responsibility and authority. So this is where we are at today. We need to stop having creation moaning for us. We need to have creation smiling for us. So, and that's something that I want to really pray about. Now, I'll be riding around today or walking, doing whatever, and every once in a while I just say, God, how? So let's ask, how can we stop creation from moaning and make creation smile? Dr. Prodigal, God bless you this morning.